Hi, it's Jerry with ilovervlife. I've got an exciting new RV product to share with you. This is the Haloview RD10. This is a forward-facing camera and a wireless rear camera monitor package. And this thing is really amazing. Oh, and you gotta stay tuned to the end. I've got something really exciting to share with you. Hi, it's Jerry. I've got a really interesting product that Haloview sent me. This is a rear view mirror, and it has a forward-facing dash cam built into it, a wireless monitor, and a full kit for a wireless rear camera. This isn't just a regular wireless camera. This is very similar to the video that I'll show you up above that I did with the 7-inch monitor, where it actually has a transmitter that you connect at the end of a cable, and you can move it forward close to your camper. If you've got a camper, long camper, 30 plus feet, a big fifth wheel or Class C or Class A, sometimes with these wireless systems, the camera is in the back with the transmitter there, and then you've got all this distance, middle of your vehicle and so forth, that's up toward the front. And you'll read some reviews from time to time that the video can be about a little sketchy. A reason being is it's just too much distance for that wireless camera and monitor to be able to work. And Haloview fixed this with this RD10 system, and the system that you saw about 6 months ago that we installed, by taking I think it's about a 35-foot cable that's supplied with this package and the transmitter, and you can move it forward. And I got to share with you, we've been using this thing with our monitor for over 6 months. Perfect, no dropouts, solid as a rock, extremely happy with it. And now this monitor has been built into a mirror, and it can support 2 cameras. One is built in, one is a forward-facing dash cam. We call that our insurance camera. We've got one in our grill, and that's for those crazies that pull in front of you and then slam on brakes, and then if you bump them, it's like, oh my, you were following too close. Now you can show the video to the kind officer, and you won't get the ticket, won't be blamed for the craziness of the bad driver that was in front of you. So that's really, really helpful. And then that ever helpful, especially for us with that 40-foot fifth wheel in the back, it really aids in me being able to see Joan when I'm backing up, and where I'm getting close to things and so forth. And it's just really, really great. Or if you don't want to use it for a backup camera, you can adjust it up a little bit, and you can have a rear view camera to where you can actually see traffic behind you. So you have both of those options depending on the adjustment of that camera. You can achieve this with this RD10. It's really, really nice. Okay, so install. I'm going to show you the install of how I put in the camera and the cable. There's 2 options. There's this first one that is, I'll show you on this diagram that is provided by Haloview. And in this diagram, you'll see that they suggest mounting the camera in the back. You can get power from one of 2 locations, either the front or back. Typically, that power is from one of your marker lights, and you just turn your parking lights on. I do that all the time with mine anyway when I travel. They say the easiest option is to run this along the roof of your camper. Easy install, takes minutes, and you can get this done. I took a slightly different route. The route that I chose was actually something more of a custom fit, taking the cable, routing it down through the back of the RV, then underneath the all-weather pan to the front. That way I hid all the cables. Really like that installation a lot better. We've been using it for months now. Super clean. And I just didn't want a bunch of wiring up on top of the roof. No problem if you don't mind doing something like that. People do it every day with all kinds of antennas and solar power and those types of things. They provide some connectors in here that you can use to tie it down. Some people like to take small strips of Eternabond and put it down. When you put that Eternabond over a piece of cable, I can assure you it's not coming loose. It's permanent. So those are options that you can do that. But I really like the install that I did. Here, let me show you how I did my rear camera. I'm going to mount the camera right around here. I've got a hood that will stop this marker light from reflecting into it in the evenings when I'm driving. I'm afraid that if I mount it up here higher above this, I might get some type of residual reflection with the camera pointing down. So I'm going to mount it here. All right. Put me a couple holes in here for pilot holes so I don't split this outside. Getting this into the hole all the way through. We'll see. And this rubber will seal around this hole here and give me a nice tight fit. Mount this now, and we'll do some fine tuning later. I don't know exactly where I want it to go. I'm going to go ahead and put this hood on. Kind of keep the... Alright, next comes the fun stuff, and that's going to be running the big cable. This is the option that I took for running the wiring instead of across the roof. If you look inside here, there's the hole right at the very top. Here, I'll point to it. It's located right there where I brought the camera inside this entertainment center area. And then I ran the cable down behind the TV. It's real simple. This, matter of fact, this was the easiest part of the project. And then if you'll notice down here, right at the bottom there, I ran the cable through the floor down up underneath. Now let's go outside and I'll show you what actually took the longest time in this project. You don't have to take your whole black pan down, this protective pan that's used to keep weather out from underneath your camper. If you'll notice, you have these bolts. Most of these have a bolt here. I just took an electric drill with a 3/8 adapter, and I just popped them all off down on one side. And that probably took about an hour maybe to pull them all off, maybe not that much time. And then I ran the cable up under this. There's actually a raceway. There are these bars where you can see other electric wires that are running, you know, both 12 volt, etc. And I just ran that cable straight down the line and then came right back and popped all these screws back in. I didn't show that on the video. It really wasn't too difficult, just pretty basic task. This is the front of the fifth wheel. It's going to be a little dark. Right here at the bottom you can see where I brought the cable in. It's located right here. And then I had, if you'll notice here, I had a fuse block that I was able to power the unit with. And then I came here to the side and just drilled a 3/4 inch hole, and you'll also notice I'm using a rubber grommet around those. You can buy those things for pennies a piece to be able to protect the wiring. You can see where I'm actually bringing the wire in. And then there's the adapter cable that you're seeing right here. This is where you actually do the power insertion. And then there's the repeater that's located right there. So I'm literally, what, maybe 10, 11, 12 feet max. So that install with the rear camera probably took me about 2-ish hours, maybe 3, somewhere thereabout. The longest amount of time in it was, you know, taking all those screws down one side of that all-weather pan that exists at the bottom of our fifth wheel, and that took a little time, and then just kind of routing that cable through. 35 feet was the exact length I needed. It was almost designed for my 40 foot. Look, if you've got, you know, something even larger like one of these 45 feet, you want to do a bunch of custom stuff, Haloview sells a longer cable, and you can go out to their website and find that longer cable. It's not included with this package. But if you've got a typical, you know, typical install, I would say less than 40 feet, or a Class C or a Class A or something like this, you won't have any problem with the cable that's supplied. And you'll have a nice forward-facing camera, and you'll have a nice rear view camera that all can be seen through this monitor that's built into your rear view mirror. Okay, let's go outside and let's install the mirror and see how that works. There isn't a whole lot to do this installation here for the monitor. Golly, this is probably the simplest of the whole installation. First thing I'm going to do is mount this antenna. So this will be the top, and you can bend it. And here's the little connectors that go on the back. Now, we're going to have different size. It's just kind of like a rubber band. And there's going to be different size mirrors that this should fit. I'm not sure how this is going to fit. If you get some really, really wide ones, I'm not sure how it's going to fit. I will show you a trick. Here you can see the speaker that's located here. This is for your rear view camera if you turn it on. And of course, this is your forward-facing dash camera. Now, if you'll notice, this camera is going to kind of get in the way. Here's the nice thing that they've done. They've given you some flexibility to slide that out, and that's you'll see why that's really important here in just a second, to be able to cover the mirror. If you didn't, it would bump into it like so, and then that would be a problem. Exactly. There's going to be just a little bit, as far as out as it will go. If that had maybe another little inch or so, that would be absolutely grand. It's going to be just a tad of the mirror showing here on the side, but it's not, it's not horrible. Now, there you go. That looks fantastic. And with the camera off to the side. So, one of the big benefits that, we've been talking about, if you're located in one of these states to where you can't have anything on your dash here that's obstructing your view, this just goes right over your mirror. So I would think that you would not get gigged, for having something. And then this still works. You can see the camera back. You can see my hand reflecting in the camera. We have everything that's needed as far as just having a regular mirror if you're not going to be able to use it. But again, one of the benefits is we've got a forward-facing camera, and I'll show you how that works here in just a second. So they provide us with a power cord, and the power cord's pretty simple. What I would suggest that you do is unravel your power cord. There's tons and tons and tons of wire here, so you're not going to have any problem finding a source where you have a one of these standard 12-volt plug-ins, right? And you've got a connection here on the top that you'll connect that to. And what I would suggest doing is taking this wire and then just stuffing it in the headliner like so, and you can kind of hide it, to where you just don't have all this wire dangling down in front of you and looking like heck. And you can usually pull that headliner down. Here, I'll go to the other side. Usually there's plenty of flexibility in your headliner to where you can just kind of take this and tuck it up inside and hide this wire, which makes it, a cleaner install. And then you've got what they call a pillar here to my right, and you can just gently take like a little plastic, some people call them spudgers, or an ice cream stick or something like that, and then you can push that wire all the way down the side and then run it up behind your glove box and then plug it into your closest 12-volt connection. Now this should be powering up here in just a second. So as the power comes on, you can see the first thing that we have here is our front forward facing camera. And I've got a little bit of reflection here. I'm not going to let that bother me. But you'll notice camera 1 is going to be my rear camera, so there's a process that we have to go through to sync it. And it's a pretty simple step. So to gain access to your menu, you're going to love this. It's a touch screen. You just take your finger and rub it down, and then there's a button here called pair, and I'm going to touch that, and you got 20 seconds to pair it. On that transmitter, you'll see that. See, it just took seconds. On that transmitter, there's a little button on the side that you press, and boom, Bob's your uncle. There you go. Look how simple that is. It was just pretty simple. I'll show you just a couple features that you have here. You've got a place in the top to be able to put you a micro SD chip. Use a good high quality chip so you can actually record. So I've got these two views, you know, as I would be driving down the road. I've got a forward view and the rear camera. Let's say that I get to the campground now and Joan's in the back, and I'd like to have a little bit better view of that. You just wipe right to left with your finger, and there's the view of my fine garage door back in the back. But that would give me a good close-up view as I would be backing up now, coming into my spot. And yes, I do use this like crazy when we're out there. And again, if you don't want to use this more for backup, you can also adjust it a little bit to have it as a rear view mirror. We were at a Love's truck stop, and the truck in front of me had problems in the lane, and it was so nice to be able to have this view here as I had to back up and get into another truck lane. Oh my goodness, it's just some really nice benefits for something like that. So again, a little bit of the mirror showing here. Oh, and let's say you unhook the camper, you know, the fifth wheel from the back, and you don't need this rear view any longer. Well, that's fine. Then that's our forward view, and I call this our, you know, the insurance view here as we drive down the road. And you can set it up to record. Very simple. Just take this right here and, you know, set your settings up here to do your recording, and you just press the record button now and off you go. I don't have a chip in it right now, so really that's all there is to it. How much simpler can something like this be to install? It just took me absolutely minutes, and it's nice and clean and crisp. And you know, maybe if you just, you know, you don't want that little piece of view right there, you could put you a smaller mirror on it. But you know, that doesn't bother me. That's a nice little presentation right there. Look at that. I like it. Well, that took minutes. That was so, it couldn't have been simpler. You know, just a couple straps. You know, depending on your rear view mirror and how stiff it is, depending on how this mirror is going to perform. Also, depending on the width, my mirror in my F350 was a bit wide, so you see that little bit of overhang. I think if I was to use this on a regular ongoing basis, I would see if I could order maybe a smaller mirror to install, and that way I could hide it. You know, it's just an aesthetics thing, but I don't, you know, it's not a have to. But the clarity, wasn't it incredible? Super bright, highly visible, very convenient. Now, one of the benefits of being able to use something like this is if you're in one of the states, and there's several out there that say you cannot have any type of a device on your dash, like you know, like a GPS or any type of a monitor your phone or those types of things. There's a couple states out there. You know who you are if you live there. And this is perfect. You can mount it on your mirror, and you don't violate those laws because you didn't place anything, you know, on your dash. And the nice thing about it is when you're not towing, if you're in a truck or a car, you can, you know, turn that off and you've got your regular rear view mirror. But you can also run a split view that I thought was quite convenient of that forward dash cam and still have your rear view mirror working for you as well. Wow, that's pretty nice, isn't it? Okay, I ask you to stick with me to the end. I'm glad you did, because here's the surprise. I don't need it. I'm going to give it away. I contacted Haloview and I said, look, this is a nice system, but you know, I've already got a system in our fifth wheel that we're really happy with. And you know, they said, well, don't send it back. Give it away. I'm going to give it away. So it's yours for free. But here's how you're going to register for this. Simple. I want you to go out. You'll see the link up above to ilovervlife.com. That's our website. And it has all these blogs and just all kinds of things out there. If you've never been, I encourage you to just, you know, give it a try. But for this, we'll call it a contest. For this, go to the website. On the right-hand side of the page, you'll see a small little block that says subscribe to our newsletter. I think this is going to be the best way to track this. First name, last name, telephone number. I'm not going to call you unless you win. First name, last name, telephone number, and your email address. And then this contest is going to run till August the 10th. August the 10th. So if you're watching this video and August the 10th has passed, sorry, you missed your opportunity to be able to get a free RD10. But all that being said, subscribe. And then on August the 10th, I will take a random number generator. I'm going to pick a number out of the hat, and then I'll see where that falls within all those who have registered. And whoever that number is, I'll contact you, and if you want it, you can have it. If you don't want it, I'll just do the drawing again until somebody wants it. Can't imagine why you wouldn't want it. It really is a very nice system, and it's a very expensive system too. This has not been installed. Everything in it is brand spanking new. I think you're going to like it and really, really enjoy it. Oh, I forgot. If you've already registered and you're already a member of our newsletter, then there's nothing else for you to do. You're already in the list to be able to be chosen. How about that? So register for the newsletter. Look, you can unsubscribe at any time after the end of the contest if you don't think that there's any value in our newsletter. The newsletter is sent out every Saturday morning. And then in that newsletter, we have, a link to our video that is on our website with with show notes. I call them show notes with a lot of information. There's a few things like a weekly special in the top YouTube videos and just a little bit of, products that you might want to be able to look at. Look, if you want to purchase any of those, we appreciate it. It helps support the channel. If you don't, that's okay too. Enjoy our newsletter and enjoy our website. We're glad to have you along. Look. This RD10 is really, really nice, and I'm really looking forward to giving it to one of you. I think you're going to really like it, and oh man, when I give away free stuff, I really do love RV Life.